Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here. Shall we begin?
Hello, baby.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it. What's going on?
Do you want to start over and you can say it first?
No. This is fantastic. We don't do do-overs on this thing.
I know.
It's all raw.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So cool,
yeah.
cool.
You get us and you get it, and it's authentic.
Yes, for sure. And hello, Jam Fam. Hope everybody's doing well out there. We are we're back live on the, well, we're not really live, I guess, but we are on air today talking about denial.
Yes, this whole episode is on denial.
I'm in denial.
How about what?
I don't even know. There's probably a few things I'm in denial about.
I'm sure.
I can get some feedback on that.
Me too.
Cool. But before we get there, I want to talk about some magic for you, babe.
Ooh.
You know, how have you influenced yourself? How have you influenced others? Or how have you influenced life in a empowering way?
Oh my goodness. So we went out yesterday after our work day for a 2-mile run. It was 96 degrees.
Ooh, it was steamy.
It was great. I love that whole detoxing effect.
It was starting to thunder a little bit.
So that's magic for sure, that we went out and influenced ourselves to go out for a run at 96 degrees. And so Lucas asked to go for a 1-mile run on his own so he can have some Lucas time.
Me time.
I know, which I thought was so sweet. So that was awesome. And as we were cruising outside of our neighborhood, our neighbors who live, a couple blocks away from us, they were like, "Hey, it's Sex, Money, and Real Estate. Hey, guys, what are you guys doing?" I was like, "We're going for a 2-mile run." And they're like, "All right, cool. We love listening to your podcast. And when we sell our house, we want to use you to sell our house."
And they said, "But we know what your boundaries are now, too, so we won't call you all hours of the night."
Yeah. Which was so great.
I know. It's fantastic. And who knew?
I know, seriously. It was a little like,
yep.
And, cool. So that was awesome. We really appreciate that. So shout out, neighbors. And yeah, it was a great run. And yeah, I think I'm complete. Did you have anything else about that?
It
was really
cool to get the shout out for sure. That's part of my magic too, is, whenever we get recognized, like we talked about a few weeks ago, we talked about how we were out for
to go support Kayla.
And got recognized in that restaurant. And then everybody was, had their phones up and we're like adding our podcast to their podcast list. And it was so cool. It was cool.
It is. It's, that's why we're doing it. It's to empower ourselves, empower the boys, and to empower others.
Yeah.
And it's very magical, and I appreciate the connection, and it feels great to assist others in empowering their relationships.
Yeah, so. For sure. And then I'll add on to that magic is that I turned 51 last week.
Oh,
last
you
weekend.
Sure did.
I am 51 years old and had an amazing birthday, and I give gratitude to you and our boys and really to everybody that reached out to say to say happy day and happy next circle around the sun and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And it was great, and we got to hang out at the house. I got to do exactly what I wanted to do, which was hang out at the house and watch a few movies and cook out. And I hadn't had a burger in a long time. I mean, months or more than months. So I wanted a burger on our grill, and it was delicious. It was so delicious. I wanted to do one the next day.
But we fast on Mondays.
So that sure didn't happen.
No,
that probably won't happen for a little while, but it was great. So all that was great. And then receiving, the massage package from our guy Ace, who is amazing for sure.
Yes.
His massages are so good. You are more limber and more flexible when you walk out of there. He just really knows how to move stuff around. And then, the gift from you and the boys, the list of, you each wrote a list of what the 51 things that you were grateful to me for.
Mm-hmm.
And that was amazing. So to get 153 things, and essentially no repeats of things that you guys were grateful for it was moving, and I am grateful for that as well. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm complete.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The breakfast.
Oh, and the boys made breakfast.
Yeah, and we started out the day how? It was a beautiful day.
It was a jam-packed day.
Uh-huh.
All those movies, and then we started out with a 3-mile run, and then I was ordered back into bed, so the boys could make breakfast for me.
Mm-hmm.
And they spelled my name out in pancake batter and cooked it up
so cute.
and put that across the top of my plate. So yeah, that was
eggs and salad and bacon and cantaloupe with whipped cream on it.
Yeah, who knew that
cream.
whipped cream and cantaloupe went together?
Hey.
But they do. So
it was delicious.
Yep, it was awesome. So totally grateful. Yes. Great day, great birthday week. Yeah, so it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to my mom, gave her gratitude for bringing
you.
Yeah, for having me, bringing me into this world. So
yes,
it was cool.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're cool.
Thanks.
You deserve it all.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this denial thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's a biggie.
It is a biggie, and I don't want to make it like too big that, it's not digestible, but at the same time, it's like, it's got to be talked about, because, we're all in some form of denial somewhere in our lives.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you live in Georgia. It's not if you get termites, it's when you get termites.
Yeah. If you don't have like a termite bond or something like that. Right.
So we recommend to all our clients to get a termite bond, or at minimum a quarterly service, so that your pest control company can come out, even if you do have a concrete slab or concrete cinder block.
Yeah. That's
house.
A funny example, baby.
It is. It's the truth, though, because you're not, everybody is in some form of denial. It's not if you're going to be in denial. It's when is it going to reveal itself? How is it going to reveal itself?
And then when it does, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. And how do you relate to it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to go F you denial, or are you going to go, maybe I need to take a look at this. Maybe it would be in my best interest to take a look at this. Maybe it'll increase my health and vitality and sustainability if I take a look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe by doing that, it'll increase my business because now I'm healthier. Yeah. See, it's all connected.
Healthier, more mature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. In whatever area that is.
Yeah, it's definitely all connected.
So a definition for denial is a protective mechanism of the mind, which we're going to call the ego in this definition, a protective mechanism of the mind that really wants something to be true that is not true.
Yes. Now, I do think that it's worth saying that denial is, yes, it's a coping mechanism, and it is, there's an appropriate time to utilize, to utilize the technique or the defense mechanism, the coping mechanism of denial for the purpose of processing trauma, healing trauma, and yet I'm going to continue to say that it's not sustainable over the long period of time.
Absolutely not.
You can't contain something that needs to come up and heal and to be processed. So yes, it does serve a purpose. And yes, it's also for you to utilize that time to process that information. Mm-hmm. So if you're not processing the information, you're in double denial.
That's funny and true, because a lot of people will try to, whatever they're in denial about, if there is some kind of realization that they are in denial, they're going to try to fix it from the same place that they created it, which is within themselves. Mm-hmm. So, and that's one form that we'll talk about later on, when you're in denial, when you're trying to fix stuff that's outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Or fix stuff yourself. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Before we get too ahead of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's talk about some other things. See, I'm just looking at some of our notes here that we have about denial.
Well, the thing is that everyone is operating under some form of denial, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes, termite bond.
So, and when you engage in denial, it'll be a lengthy confrontation with the ego, which will deploy all kinds of defenses.
Yeah, which we call
We call minefields.
mind fields. Mind,
Yes.
M-I-N-D. It's mind field. Instead, it's literally like minefields, and yet they're in the mind.
Yeah, it defends its existence by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the key measures to mitigating denial, moving through denial, processing denial is feedback.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about criticism. We're not talking about judgment or, self-deprecating conversation or self-sabotaging conversation. We're talking about feedback, like healthy feedback from guides,
experienced
coaches,
guides, coaches. Yeah.
Yeah. People your board of directors, perhaps people that are just more experienced than you, maybe at a different level of consciousness or a different level of health or a different level of relationship, but wherever and whatever that is, it's a healthy source. It's a healthy resource for you for the purpose of giving you feedback that allows you, again, to minimize that destructive conversation, those mind fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It can definitely keep you stuck. So we have some symptoms here, some telltale signs that will affirm you that you are in denial in some particular area.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I think we wrote down 10 of them. So really, I mean, there may be more, but again, we wanted to really do our best to be very succinct and clear here to where you can identify maybe where you are. Now listen, it's very easy for you to identify somebody else's denial. Like, as you become more knowledgeable and aware of the processes in which denial happens, like really one of the most disempowering things you could do is start going around going, hey, you're in denial and you're in denial and you're in denial, and be very like egoic about it. So be cool, be mature with the information, and start like shining the light on yourself, and just again approach this from a very respectful, mature mannerism.
Yeah, and nobody wants. Well, I won't say nobody, but a lot of people don't want to hear it unless it's been asked for. So it's either asking permission to give it, or they're asking to receive it. But either way, if there aren't intentions set
or an agreement in place,
absolutely, it'll go sideways every single time.
Yeah,
there'll be denial about the denial. So,
which I think is really what we even talk about that a little bit. So, all right, cool. So number one
is you continue to put in the work, but the results are greatly delayed if achieved at all. Number two,
I've done everything.
Right.
I've done everything that I possibly can, and it's still not working.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins does that little thing in his seminar. He's like, really? You've done everything? How many things have you done? I don't know, like 20, 25 different ways. He's like, have you done 1,000? Have you done 2,000? Have you done 10,000? Like the light bulb.
Yeah.
So no, you haven't done everything. You're lying to yourself.
Number two, when you think you understand what it takes to achieve the result, but you continue on with your ineffective habits. I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And some of these I think are.
Yeah, I think, yes, they are. And it's fascinating because there's going to be some that really like zing some of our folks. And I would love to hear which one of these really resonates with you. So feel free to drop a comment.
Number three, refusing and or not openly receiving effective, healthy feedback. So, if you're getting healthy feedback from a respected or an asked for coach or guide, and then you're refusing it, or a group of people you've called into your life and you're refusing it, you might be in denial.
Yep. If you have more than, 2 people saying the same thing about a behavior or an action or a thought that their experience of you, then I would invite you to take a look at that. Number 4.
Number 4, you believe you are doing everything you can, but the results are still, no, we said that?
Or the results are
Are
still greatly delayed.
if achieved at all.
Right. So you believe you're doing it. Again, you're grateful, or you believe that you're doing everything you can, and yet you may not be experiencing the result.
Yep.
So then all of a sudden, you're back in that conversation. It's not working, but yet you're not actually doing what you committed to be doing, which is why you're not achieving the result. So it is different than number 2. You think, number 2 was you think you understand what it takes to achieve the result, but yet you don't change any of your habits. So if you want to release weight, but you're still eating, cheeseburgers 7 nights a week, that ain't going to happen. Like, you need to change to effective habits. But number 4, we said, if you're doing everything you can, but yet you're not seeing any of the results, then you're not. I mean, you're not doing.
Mm-hmm. Number 5, when you think you can make it through without another set of eyes from experienced guides, there's that word, or experts giving you weekly and sometimes daily feedback.
Right. And this is what we started talking about at the beginning of the podcast, is where you are, you think that you can do it all on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing was not designed to do it on your own. This thing was designed to be in community and in tribes and,
this thing called life.
Yes, this thing called life, the game of life. I mean, it's to be in communion with each other. I mean, that's Conversations with God talks about that all the time, to be in communion with each other.
Well, and that's what makes it all sustainable.
Yes.
Because, you're leaning on one another, you're getting feedback from one another with that leaning, and it pulls you, it creates healing and pulls you out of your denial, for sure.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes. 6, when you attract a coach and deny their coaching. I mean,
my gosh. And our mentor and life coach will say that to us. Like, if we're not, it's very confronting. Like, I mean, that's just really a confronting one. It's like, hello, like, here I am, I'm right here. And yet you're deciding not to be coachable.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Digging your heels in, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Number 7, when you attract a coach and only surrender to what you already know and know that you can do.
Right. So one of my coaching clients is he's crushing it right now. Like, he's doing really great. And we keep talking about the sustainability of his business. Like, if he's truly building a referral-based business, then he needs to have systems and tools in place that are operating in the background while he is servicing his clients for the purpose of maintaining his referral-based business.
Right. Refuses
to do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to keep talking to you about this, and we're going to keep coaching on it. And so, there is some denial on a couple of things on that level. Number 1, here I am as coach, and he's denying the coaching. I mean, our referral rate is 87% lifetime rate. We've been doing this for 20 years. Do you think we know something? I mean, we know a little bit. I know that we're learning and we're evolving our business and, all of those things. And yet, so he's denying the coaching, and then he's only willing to do what he is willing to surrender to.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, I love him, and it'll just be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out.
Well, maybe you can send him this episode after we're done with it.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, and I say that to him. I'm like, this is a portion of your life right now that is in denial.
Yeah.
I know it is. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people are in denial of that PPC balance. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. 8, you use other people's behaviors as evidence you don't have a problem. I mean, I love you, Mom, but that has been like the biggest thing that you have done in my entire life is like tell me that what other people are doing to justify what you're doing. Mm. It was like your number one go. It was her number one go-to. Mm. Number one, my entire life. Mm. And it still is. I'll talk on the phone with her and I talked to so-and-so from, wherever. And, I'm not the only one that thinks that, X, Y, and Z is a bad deal or is undoable or whatever it is that, whatever the conversation is to stay in her denial. Mm. So Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Number 9, you refuse to talk about the problem or deny it even exists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a toughie too.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of conversation around addicts have that conversation, like, I mean, I'm thinking of a few examples in our life that have alcohol opportunities.
Yeah.
And, they don't even want to talk about it, or, and then anyway, so it's definitely fascinating.
Yeah, and that leads right into number 10. You defend its existence, right? Which is kind of the same thing. By any means necessary, long, drawn-out conversations, all kinds of smoke and mirrors, and a lot of mental masturbation to avoid it altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just over and over and over and over again. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, if it's a 20-minute conversation defending that it's not there, you may want to take a look at it.
Right.
Just over, and you pull out all the stops. Whew. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is. It's fascinating. I mean, and really what it boils down to is that, all right, so we're in a situation to where you're receiving healthy feedback. You have one or multiple of these telltale signs that you're in denial around something. And then you essentially have two choices. One, you receive the feedback and you decide to do something about it. Or 2, you deny or defend the denial. And then guess what? You
get the same results.
You get the exact same result.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you're still on the hamster wheel. And, then you get to say, well, that didn't work. Thanks a lot for the conversation, but that didn't work, which, frankly, you get to be right about. And then it just reiterates some of these other symptoms up here where you think that you can make it through on your own, or you don't need anybody else, or it's really, it's devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Or you have another choice. You can surrender to the feedback.
Right. Well, that's what I said first, is that your first choice is really surrender to the feedback and you create new results, or
you defend
you defend them. Right. And then it's the same thing.
Got it.
Over and over again. Mm-hmm.
So what are some action steps, baby, for confronting your denial, or even acknowledging that it's there?
Yeah. Well, this is so if I was just thinking about some things like that I was in denial about, like big things, as we redefined our marriage and then really took a very, very shined a bright light on like our codependent behaviors and 100% codependent beliefs and paradigm and being spouse-centered. And it took a lot to move through these different symptoms. So there was definitely some breakdowns. Like there was definitely some things that, like, I feel like we almost had to go through to jog free that mental masturbation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to get to the point where it was like, oh, wait a minute, this is happening again. We're having this argument again. Like, we're having this argument again. Like, why are we having this argument again? Like, what about this is so insidious that we keep moving in this space again? So I would say for me, right off the bat, is to really get present with where you are. And if you're receiving feedback from either a coach or a mentor or your friends, family, church members, whomever, team leader, whomever you're receiving the feedback for, spouse, kids, then, and you're getting that from two different people, again, you may really want to take a look at that and like really own. I mean, there's an ownership in it. There's, let me get present in this moment, and there's an ownership and fully accepting the responsibility of what you're creating, I'm creating. That's huge.
It is huge. And that's the thing. You know, I mean, you can stay in denial your entire life and you're not going to heal and you're not going to advance and you're not going to create, you know, the greatest version of yourself that you may be playing for. And you may not be playing to be the greatest version of yourself. And that's fine too, you know, because it's all a choice. At the end of the day, though, if you're looking to heal and looking to make some advancements in your life, in your, you know, whether it's your love life or your work life or anything in between
Your health.
and your health, then acknowledging that you have some denial in your life is really the first step, and taking it seriously. And it doesn't have to be like this earth-shaking thing. It could be, you could look at, your timeliness. When you're, is punctuality a thing for you? Are you in denial that you're always late to your appointments, or you're always late to work, or you're always, or it could be, like your example, Nance, is it the codependence, on another in a relationship, or on anything? Where's your codependence, and where's your denial around it? I'm trying to think of other examples. Some people are in denial of their, addictions, whether it's alcohol or cigarettes or, social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just going to say their phones.
Yeah, putting their phones
down. I would imagine that's a big one. Like, put your phone down. Be present with me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you got this 5-year-old or 10-year-old or even your 15-year-old going, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Can you put your phone down? Like, you may want to, just take a look at it. Just take a look at it.
Another big one is money. People are always, a lot of people that I talk to are in denial around, not a lot, but it's a pattern.
I would say a lot.
Are in denial around money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were in such deep denial around money that we had a bankruptcy.
We created a bankruptcy, yes, and we had a whole podcast on it.
Yeah, go back to that one.
I think that was episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and this really goes back to health. Like, it's all goes back to health. And how does this conversation show up on your body? And so if you're thinking about your body and how your body feels and how it operates, and how do you sleep? Do you exercise? Do you not exercise? How do you eat? Do you not eat? How do you drinking? Like, all of the facets of your health is your wealth. And so I mean, that's the biggest one for me, is that it all goes back to your health.
Yeah, I'm sure that we've talked about it, and maybe we haven't too much. Anyway, it doesn't really. I'm going to reiterate that your body is literally printing what you're thinking. So and it shows up. So if you're in denial around things, it's going to show up. It's going to show up in your waistline. It's going to show up in your habits with your body. It's going to show up. Your body literally is a 3D printer for whatever it is that you're thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And dealing with denial around food or relationships, or that run, and it could be a different level, because there's different levels of healing and different levels of denial. It could be the 10-mile run, or it could be a half-mile walk.
Run. Yeah,
yeah,
great.
So it's not necessarily what it is or the level that it's at. It's just acknowledging that it actually exists.
The resistance around what it is that comes up for you.
Yeah, for the
when
breakthrough.
You think about it. Yep.
For the breakthrough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. It really is fascinating.
So I'm really going to suggest that, I'm excited about this outline that we put together. I really like it. And I'm going to suggest to everybody go back a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, whatever it is, back to the symptoms, and go through those again, and maybe stop after every one or two, and do a little mental check on where you are in that particular denial. Is it number one? You continue to put your work. You continue to put in the work, but the results are greatly delayed, or if achieved at all. Or is it number 7, when you attract a coach and you deny their coaching? Go through those, and really, have a hard conversation with yourself around where you're in denial, or better yet, get somebody to go through those with you and get some feedback on it. It's a great, stepping off point.
Exercise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I would imagine that it will resonate, whichever one of these signs and symptoms, as they're going through it, will resonate. Be like, whoa! Like, I'm sure some of these are going to be zingers.
Yeah, for sure. So, cool. Well, I really feel great about this. I hope that I'm getting something out of it just by talking about it. And as always, if you guys get anything out of it, and I know you will. What I really appreciate is you sharing it back with Nancy and I.
Yeah, absolutely.
for sure. So comments on the Facebook page or comments on Instagram or wherever, you pick up this episode from Apple iTunes
Or Google Play.
or Google Play.
Or, whatever your
Wherever
favorite podcast player is. Yeah, that'd be great.
And then, as always, we're always looking for some great reviews, too. So put those out there if you're loving the show. Mm-hmm. All right, baby. Anything else?
Awesome. Go check us out on our Facebook page. We have Sex, Money, and Real Estate Facebook page, and then we have also a private group that's Sex, Money, and Real Estate private Facebook group. So
and you can join the group because it's still free.
Yeah, it is free for now.
And it's free for now, but it's not going to be forever.
Nope.
Cool. All right. Love goes out.
Thank you so much.
See you on the flip side.
Bye.
Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow the show. I'm Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And remember, it's
a great life. Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.